Welcome to Aniverse channel, where we're going to talk about Akira, released in the year 1998. Spoilers ahead. So strap in. We see Tokyo in 1988, right before a massive explosion took it out. Then we skip to 2019, and get to see Neo Tokyo. We see a rundown bar and see someone order 3 peanuts? I don't know either. A biker bursts in, telling our main character Kaneda about a rival gang on their turf. Outside, we see a kid called Tetsuo fanning over one of the coolest looking bikes ever. Our main character tells him that his bike is too much for him, before getting on. They ride through the city, and we see a biker gang wreaking havoc. They even throw a grenade pretty hardcore. Kaneda's gang picks off this rival gang one by one in some gorgeous chase scenes. Kaneda almost takes down what looks like their leader when cops show up. They run, and we cut to a father protecting his son from 2 dogs by shooting them. Neo Tokyo has seen better days. They run into the police, the pair almost getting away. Then we see the kid who looks, well, he looks like he's mutated. The cops shoot the older man, and the kid freaks out. But then, everything starts to fall and shatter everywhere. The kid vanishes, yes, just vanishes. We see another pair, another weird looking guy and a henchman trying to track the kid down. He apparently went somewhere west. We see scenes of violent protest, and a woman called Kei and a man called Ryu trying to find each other in the chaos. Going back to our biker gang, they're trying to chase the other gang through a tunnel. Tetsuo runs into that psychic kid from before, almost running him over before his bike blows up. He's still alive, and the gang catches up to him as he accuses the kid of almost killing him. Right before Kaneda can get some answers, the police surround them. The kid runs. These guys are really here for him. The weird-looking guy tells the kid they can't survive outside for very long, and to come with him. Everyone gets caught. The group gets taken to a containment facility where a terrorist almost blows himself up. Almost, because he really should have bought one that actually exploded. The gang gets let go, and Kaneda rescues a cute girl he apparently likes, not the noblest reason. The girl leaves pretty much immediately, and Kaneda is left ranting after her. In the next scene, we find out that the henchman guy is actually a colonel, and he gets brought into a lab, where we see Tetsuo getting shoved into some kind of machine. The head scientist tells him that Tetsuo's psychic pattern resembles Akira's, though we don't know who that is, or why that's important. All we know is that Tetsuo can get powers too, powers as strong as Akira that might be too hard to control. If Tetsuo does look like he'll be too hard to control, they have to eliminate him. We then cut to a school with a very enthusiastic teacher disciplining Kaneda and his friends. Tetsuo escapes his hospital, finding Kaori, the girl he likes. He tells her the hospital was messing with his head and that he wants the 2 of them to run away. At the school, Kaneda and the others see Tetsuo racing off with Kaneda's bike, alongside Kaori. Their bike stops, and they get ambushed by some bikers from yesterday, who start beating them up. They start harassing Kaori, knocking her out, before almost destroying Kaneda's bike. Luckily the others find them, but Tetsuo is furious that the others always have to come to save him. He even pushes Kaori away, before he starts having a breakdown, seeing visions of Akira. He starts having horrible hallucinations. Something is wrong. The army and doctors step in, tending to him and ignoring Kaneda's protests. They haul Tetsuo away. Kaneda and the others aren't in a great mood, understandably. Later on, they come to the scene of an explosion in what looks like a supermarket. The military is shooting what look like innocent people, and Kaneda recognizes the girl he was hitting on fleeing the scene with an accomplice named Ryu. Ryu helps the girl escape, staying behind. The girl gets spotted by the army, and Kaneda barely manages to save her, not a romantic reunion. We cut back to Tetsuo in that machine, having visions of his past with his family. These visions get more and more nightmarish, and when he wakes up, he breaks a window with his new powers. We see a mutated girl called Kyoko telling the colonel about a dream where Neo Tokyo is covered in disaster, where they meet Akira again. Her last words are to not let Tetsuo go. The colonel goes to an underground facility where behind a massive locked door they see a giant machine labeled Akira. Meanwhile, Kaneda is still trying to flirt with the girl even as she tries desperately to find Ryu. Yes, he really can't read the room. They do run into him and his friends, who toss him and lock him in a room. The resistance is planning an infiltration on the government's lab, to get more information on their latest subject Tetsuo. Kaneda gets caught overhearing them, and he frantically explains that he knows Tetsuo. After listening to him, they decide to use him in their plan. We see a group of what look like cultists praying for Akira's return, a way to remake Neo Tokyo again. We cut to the Supreme Executive Council arguing over whether or not they should spend more funding to try and control Tetsuo. They break out into an argument and everyone accuses the colonel of using Akira to fuel his corruption. The colonel storms off and I'm sure you can tell things are going south fast. The resistance breaks into a government facility posing as workers. Tetsuo is having migraines and hallucinations in his hospital room. He sees gigantic toys all trying to kill him, and he tries to run. He steps on broken glass, and the illusions vanish. Each toy fades into one of the mutated kids, before they vanish too. Tetsuo breaks out of his room and gets confronted by a doctor and some guards. His powers have awakened, but he doesn't seem all there. He kills them instantly. We see the resistance slinking through the sewers. They get spotted by a guard on a floating scooter with a machine gun. They manage to destroy the first one. Kaneda puts himself in danger to save Kei for the third time. The two steal a scooter and hear that Tetsuo has escaped on a receiver. The army isn't having much luck stopping Tetsuo. The angrier he gets, the more destruction he causes. Tetsuo breaks into a top-secret room. Here, toys controlled by more of those mutated kids attack him and then manage to run. Tetsuo's finally coming to grips with the new power he has. He corners the three kids, threatening to kill them. Two of the kids attack him together, but he repels them back. The girl, Kyoko, tells him about Akira and that Tetsuo is the key to awakening him and has to be stopped. Tetsuo goes on a rampage, just as Kaneda enters the scene. Tetsuo blows him away along with some guards before telling Kaneda he doesn't need Kaneda to rescue him. He can rescue Kaneda instead, if he begs. Tetsuo learns where Akira apparently is from reading Kyoko's mind, then flies off. Kyoko tells the girl about Tetsuo's plan and he races to confront him before all his powers can awaken. The colonel gets stopped by an officer, who informs him his rank is gone, and tries to take him under arrest. The colonel understandably, gets him shot. Yeah, I don't know what he expected. The colonel pretty much declares martial law. Tetsuo wanders into the bar earlier in the movie, and the bartender tries talking to him. Some members of his gang wander into the bar later on, to find it destroyed and the bartender dead. Tetsuo confronts them. He's gotten pretty dramatic pretty fast. Tetsuo offhandedly admits to killing the barkeep and then kills one of his friends. Kaneda and Kei are now in a cell, where Kei tells him she overheard that Tetsuo was going to find Akira. Like all of us, Kaneda wants to know just what the heck Akira is. She tells him that Akira is a sum of vast power that is meant to devour everything around it. She tells him that the government tried to control this power before, but it led to the destruction of Tokyo. Someone unlocks the door, and they escape. We find out that Kyoko is somehow influencing Kei, guiding her. Kaneda and Kei stop by the bar, where the last remaining member tells them what happened. Kei meets with one of the mutant kids from earlier and vanishes with him even as Kaneda tries stopping her. Kyuri tells Kaneda that they need Kei to help stop Tetsuo. Ryu gets killed by the last of the Supreme Council, who thinks that Ryu is the one that sold him out to the colonel. Harsh, but also pretty random. We see Tetsuo rampaging through the city. He puts on a cape, and blows up a tank. What did I say about him being dramatic? People hail him as Lord Akira. Meanwhile, that last government official is running through the alleys before dying of a heart attack. Ryu is somehow still barely alive, only to die as soon as he sees people cheering. Kaneda finds his bike before going to confront Tetsuo. Tetsuo is pushing back the army by himself, along with his new fan club. He destroys the bridge they're on, killing friend and foe alike. Tetsuo reaches the facility where he sees Akira. Kei is there to confront him, controlled by Kyuri. She brings the whole place down on Tetsuo's head. From the wreckage, Tetsuo and Akira emerge. Kei and Tetsuo fight on top of Akira's prison. Their fight ends up destroying the prison. Akira is in what is pretty much a scion pod. The pod opens, revealing several jars full of organs and yellow liquid. The colonel tells him that those jars are all that's left of Akira now. Tetsuo just laughs, continuing his rampage. Kaneda makes his way to him, carrying a rifle. Kaneda shoots him and Tetsuo tosses him aside. Kaneda manages to land a hit on Tetsuo, but it doesn't seem to even draw blood. Kaneda tells him to fight fair and with his bare hands. Right as he does, a giant beam drops down on Tetsuo, vaporizing everything in the target zone. This is the military's ultimate weapon, fired from a satellite. It's absolutely badass. Tetsuo is still alive, but he's lost an arm and is bleeding out. Another beam falls on him, but Tetsuo blocks it. Tetsuo flies into the air, destroying part of the satellite, which starts throwing down lasers everywhere. One of these almost kills Tetsuo and Kei, right before the satellite itself blows up. Then, we see Tetsuo rebuild his arm with metal. The three kids have a plan, and they plan to act when Tetsuo is at his strongest. The colonel asks the doctor about Tetsuo's condition. The colonel finds out that Tetsuo is too close to awakening Akira and storms off. Kaori finds Tetsuo having another breakdown in an abandoned stadium and tries comforting him. The colonel is approaching him fast, with the intent to kill or reason with him. Kaori is more than a little worried by what she's seeing and the colonel confronts him. Tetsuo can't control his growing power and refuses to seek help. He reaches out to Kaori, and the colonel shoots him. His arm mutates and almost absorbs the director, right before Kaneda shoots him. They fight again, but this time Kaneda has his bike. Kaneda still almost dies, but he gets saved by the mutant kids. Kaneda distracts Tetsuo, while the kids talk to Akira's brain. Tetsuo loses more and more control, becoming a giant mass of flesh and organs. It looks absolutely horrifying. Tetsuo and Kaori both get swallowed up and Kaori gets crushed to death. Tetsuo begs for help, and Kaneda starts shooting him from the inside, freeing himself. The mass of flesh almost absorbs everyone, when Akira's jars explode. A white light emerges, pushing back against the rampaging Tetsuo. A boy Akira emerges from the light. The light expands, and Kyoko teleports the colonel to safety. The light seems to burn Tetsuo and engulfs. The three kids go into the light, trying to at least save Kaneda. The light destroys everything it touches, pretty much evaporating most of Neo Tokyo. Kaneda sees some of Tetsuo's memories of Kaneda teaching him how to ride a bike, of him going to the orphanage. We even see memories of the testing all the three kids went through as they developed their powers. The kids want Akira to take Tetsuo away, containing him. They tell Kaneda his friend is lost, for now. We see another memory, of the day Kaneda and Tetsuo became friends. The light stops, leaving a massive crater in its wake. The scientist dies in an exploding building, a little too preoccupied to run away. The destruction finally clears, and Kei finds Kaneda in the wreckage, still alive. He thanks Kei, who called to him in the explosion. Tetsuo and the other kids are gone. Kaneda's bike is mostly gone too, the most tragic loss of the movie. We see Tetsuo in what looks like another dimension. He's a mass of energy now, that seems to be expanding, and then the credits roll. If that was an abrupt end, it's because the story is a lot longer in the manga. But anyway, that definitely was a wild ride. I hope you enjoyed following it along as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and leave future movie suggestions down in the comments. Peace.